Are you an ENFJ or an ENFP? Let's find out in today's video. Yeah, ENFJs and ENFPs are a lot alike, but as an ENFJ, I exist more in the professional dimension and less in the recreational dimension. ENFJs are extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging. And our judging preference allows us to be more composed and more controlled and more focused in how we work towards our goals. As an ENFJ, I can handle a lot more stress in the sense that I can take on and set goals and show focus or discipline for a longer amount of time without starting to get stressed. I also need more structure and more order and more control in order to avoid stress. And as an ENFJ, if I don't have active professional pursuits, projects, or things that go on, I can find that to be a difficult experience. As an ENFP, I exist more in the recreational dimension. I'm an extroverted, intuitive, feeling and perceiving type. And because of that, I tend to value recreation, fun, and enjoyment higher. I need to have more fun. I need to have creative pursuits and hobbies and activities. I enjoy having fun and spontaneous activities that lack rules and a set structure. Because I'm a perceiving type, I show a stronger preference for precision and for modesty. I am less comfortable getting attention to myself and asserting myself in groups. And I prefer to make sure that I do things correctly and that I find the most efficient or accurate way to do something. I like to collaborate with others and to bounce things off other people. I can also struggle to organize my life and my activities and to follow a set plan or a structure. Yeah, that's right. ENFJs and ENFPs are distinct personality types with their own different preferences. And so you can find that they have a lot of overlaps. They're both extroverts, they're both intuitives, and they're both feeling types, meaning that they can even share the same subtype. They might, for example, both score highly for extroverted intuition, and they might both score highly for extroverted feeling in cognitive function tests. However, ENFJs tap into two distinct archetypes and preferences that ENFPs don't. ENFJs tap more into the archetype of the mediator, communicator, diplomat. They can also show a higher tendency towards being knights or to follow an ethical code or a moral code. ENFPs, on the other hand, still score higher for being rebels. They're more likely to march to the beat of their own drum. They're more likely to ask questions, to challenge order and structure, and what is the traditional norms of a society. ENFJs are more likely to be visionaries. ENFJs are more likely to have some kind of a long overarching goal or a project that they're working towards. They're more likely to show strategy and they're more likely to engage in prediction. Yeah, ENFJs tend to be better at narrowing down options to find the most likely course of action. ENFPs are more open to options and what ifs. The ENFP can see multiple ways or paths a plan could go down, but can find it hard to say which one to choose and which one is the most likely to end up being successful. The ENFJ personality type tends to score higher for left prefrontal cortex thinking, and so what you'll see is that they're better at stopping to take in information and making a decision or settling on a course. Yeah, the judging preference and personality trait makes a person better at managing their mood, managing their attention, and managing their focus. The ENFP, on the other hand, scores higher for the right prefrontal side of the brain, and what you'll see is that the ENFPs get better at acquiring information, taking in new things, and at seeking and questioning and wondering about what could happen. And because they spend more time in this process, they end up with a lot more information, and that can make decision making and managing your attention more difficult. Yeah, the ENFP is more likely to respond to distractions, changes, and things that happen around them more quickly than the ENFJ. The ENFJ might be less likely to notice or spot new things and new changes that are happening around them. Now, it's not that as an ENFP that I can't show the ability to focus or to control myself. Of course I can. And the more developed my judging function is, the more easy it is for me. And if I've had a job or a role in my work that has required me to be like that, I've probably been able to develop that function relatively well over time. However, what tends to happen for the ENFP is that when the ENFP engages in judging, when I engage in judging, I will become stressed more quickly than the ENFJ. Yeah, the ENFJ is less stressed by responsibility and leadership, but as an ENFP, I find it relatively stressful to be in this kind of a role. Over time, the more responsibilities on my desk, the more things I have to do, the more likely that I start to feel a bit frazzled and overwhelmed. And on top of that, it's difficult for me because often when I have responsibilities on my desk, I still find myself thinking of all the fun things that I'd like to do instead. And as an ENFP, I prefer to throw the things off the desk and to go out and do something that is more fun and rewarding instead. Yeah, as an ENFP, because I'm a perceiving type, I need more recreation and I need more fun in my life. And I will need to balance out a responsible or difficult or demanding career with a fun private life and hobbies to stay healthy and happy. Now, it's not like I as an ENFJ can't be a perceiving type. Yeah, I can be spontaneous. Yes, I can be flexible if that's what other people want me to do and if that's what is required in my job role or in where I am. Yeah, sometimes I recognize that I need to be more spontaneous and to go with the flow. I can't always have a plan for everything. I can't map out every scenario and what if. And when dealing with people, you have to expect some chaos and some changes all the time, right? Because I value democracy and because I want to make sure everyone gets along and that things flow well, it's important to me to also have those traits in me. But what ends up happening is if I don't have a plan or a structure and I go too much with the flow, I end up becoming a little bit stressed. Yeah, it's not fun for me if I don't know what to expect and I need to make sure I have some control of what's happening and how. Yeah, I spend time ahead of an activity to anticipate what might happen or what might come up, and I try to prepare and I try to make sure that I bring what's necessary to manage that situation effectively. Even if it looks like I'm being spontaneous, a lot of the time I actually do have some control over what's happening, and I have actually tried to think about and anticipate people's behaviors and mannerisms and actions. Because I'm good at reading people, and because of my feeling judging preference, I know and I can, to a high extent, expect and estimate what people might do and what might happen in a group situation. Because of my intuitive judging function, I'm also relatively good at predicting relative events and patterns and to make predictions based on statistics and probabilities. If you need more help figuring out your personality type, I offer coaching and personality reports that you can use to figure out and learn more about yourself. My system is one of the most in-depth, tracking your personality across 16 traits instead of just the basic 4 that we know today. I use different methods and different systems together to find out why you might relate to a certain type or why you might find yourself in a certain pattern. And my methods allow you to better pinpoint with higher accuracy about where you are in the personality spectrum. It's completely normal to be in between two types and to relate to multiple types. And at the same time, most people do have a preference somewhere, and I want to help you find out where that preference is. Now, let me know in the comments down below which personality type do you relate to more, the ENFP or the ENFJ. Thank you so much for watching, and see you all in the next video.